Is it okay to make gout jokes like that? Is that all right?
Is that insensitive?
I don't care.
I don't want to offend you.
I don't
Fuck
want to offend
gout
any of the
people.
literally dozens of people every year who suffer from gout.
Okay, well, firstly, a lot of people suffer from gout.
Yeah, like I said, dozens.
Dozens. Literally, there's dozens.
Literally
of you.
dozens.
You knowing 3 people already who suffer from gout. Yeah, there's probably like, I don't know, at least 9 more of them out there.
Well, but there used to be 4, and now there's only 3. We're beating it.
Are we beating gout or is gout beating us?
He is. Well, the reason that he no longer has gout is that he's dead. You got me there. But I don't think the gout was related. Welcome back to the Casual Obsession Horror Movie Podcast, the horror movie podcast where more importantly, where I, Jeff, talk about horror movies. I am finally back from being sick, and today we are talking about Friday the 13th, Part 2. You may remember my co-hosts from the last episode.
Maybe.
When was the last episode?
It was a couple of weeks
Do you
ago.
know? Do you know?
I'm told that it was a couple of weeks ago. I haven't listened to it because I haven't seen the movie yet.
That's probably for the
smart.
best. It is a movie best gone into with as little knowledge as possible, or as much, but nowhere in between.
Most movies tend to be like that, I find.
What was the last movie we watched?
Malignant.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
Noah, by the way.
Yeah, I was leading into that so you guys could all introduce yourselves.
Right,
Also-
sorry.
Hi,
I'm the snarky
Emma.
one.
I'm Emma. I'm the funny one.
I'm Nina. I'm the one who is here today.
Wow.
The rest of you are all dead. I didn't know how to tell you. Sorry.
Oh, man, we're all Paul McCartney. God damn it.
Dang it.
I was hoping to be the Ringo of the podcast, but I guess not.
I mean,
I
you
wanna
can still
be-
be the Ringo. You just got to be dead Ringo.
Dead Ringo. I mean, that's still better than being John Lennon, I guess.
Turns
I wanna
out I'm
be the
dead if
one
you
who-
believe it.
I want to. I wanna-
know. What kind of person would die in the middle of a podcast?
Emma,
Emma's trying to talk.
I guess
I
it
wanna-
was me.
I want to. I want to be the one who played the tambourine.
Which one plays the
Yoko
tambourine?
Ono? You want to be Yoko Ono?
I mean, more power to you, I guess.
Someone's got to be.
I think that's the
Yoko.
only thing in the Beatles that's worse than being John Lennon, isn't it? I mean, all right, but
Jeff, what are we watching this week?
not George Harrison, apparently. We're watching Friday the 13th Part 2, which I already mentioned, and you would know that if you ever paid attention to anything that I said.
I was
Noah.
paying attention, but we weren't talking about it.
Well,
so
I assume
like...
you also weren't paying attention when you watched the movie, so let me try and jog your memory.
Oh, that actually is very good.
5 years after the events of the first movie, somebody else reopens the camp. Is this ringing any bells to you?
Yeah, someone, but it's not called Camp Blood anymore.
They don't call
It's
nobody.
not even the same property.
The
is it?
official name of
No.
the place was never Camp Blood. Actually, that's just what Crazy Ralph calls it. And also, yeah, it is on a different piece of land on the same lake, but it is very nearby. So then, some bad stuff starts happening after a
Wow.
large group of the people running the camp go into town to drink all night.
Honestly, as long as my favorite character, Crazy Ralph, makes it out, I don't care what happens.
I have got terrible news for you, Noah, but we will get to that when
Oh,
we hit
no.
the spoiler zone.
I can't imagine what it would be.
Crazy Ralph retired. He was in Florida during this movie. He retired from being crazy and riding his bike around town.
Good
Gotta
for
get
him.
out of that cold Jersey weather.
Well, if you remember the movie now, Noah, can you remember what critics had to say about the movie?
I can, in fact.
Okay.
And it's
I'm
not
so
good.
proud of you, Jeff.
I actually have a quote from Roger Ebert written down in my notes because I thought it was particularly important.
Wow, look at those notes.
I've got two
I'm
full
excited.
pages of notes.
Wow.
No
I've got
space.
so much. There is one space in between sections
sorry.
here, because this is
The
notes
true
on fun
meaning of
facts
single
about the movie,
space.
and this is just my notes from watching the movie.
Got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so IMDb has a 6.1 out of 10, which
generous.
I think that is a great example. That and Letterboxd has a 3.1 out of 5, so a 6.2.
Generous.
I think those are both examples of the nostalgia bump kicking in,
I'd say so.
because Rotten Tomatoes has 27 and Metacritic has 26.
Oof. That's
It
fair,
feels a
though.
little harsh, but
Rotten Tomatoes
fair.
is telling it like it is today.
It is.
For once in its existence.
And Roger Ebert, actually, he had something pretty amusing to say about it, too.
He did, as a matter of fact. He said, well, there is a longer quote, but the part that I wrote down was, about 24 movies a year feature a mad killer going berserk, and they're all about as bad as this one.
Roger Ebert and I are on the same page about slashers, I think.
No, I think this was Roger Ebert saying that this movie was so good and that everything else is, they're about as bad as this, but bad was in big giant quotation marks. And he was being like, they're about as bad as this.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
meant it
God.
like the way that Michael Jackson said it, because it was, it was the 80s. Everybody loved Michael
Yeah.
Jackson, so...
Yeah.
Roger Ebert, known Michael Jackson fan.
Actually, did you know Roger Ebert, he did make a movie?
You have
But it was-
mentioned it
and
a
it
couple
was
of
like-
times.
Yeah, it's like a super sleazy slasher with a lot of nudity and gratuitous violence. And it's just like,
It's the kind of movie that he used to rip
Not-
apart.
yeah, it's like not that good.
Hasn't
That's
he made...
so funny.
Didn't he make like 2 other movies than that
I don't know.
or something?
This is the only one I've heard about because people bring it out as a, Roger Ebert hates horror movies,
Rogered.
but
Roger.
he did this. Good old Biebert.
Did you just call
Bob
him
Ebert.
Biebert?
Biebert.
Did you guys
Anyway,
know?
that's
Well,
all the
moving on
news I
from
have
that,
professionally.
Did you guys know Sabrina's gonna appear in Riverdale?
That I did actually know that, yeah.
I think I did hear about that, yeah, but I don't watch Riverdale, so...
I don't watch Sabrina or Riverdale. I heard the first season of Sabrina was pretty good, but
It
I didn't
was.
hear much about it after that.
It was fun. I really didn't like the way the show ended. As it progressed, I think it kind of got off the rails a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was
Fair
fun
enough.
enough at first, though. Likable characters, etc.
But what did you guys think?
Yeah.
Like, how would you rate Sabrina?
no,
I
your,
mean-
your chair has gout. Let's hear your opinion first.
Well, my gouty chair opinion is I bumped this down. I had this at a 9, and I don't know why I had it at a 9.
What?
Because I don't like it that much.
Yeah, what
Um,
is this, Halloween?
I'm probably gonna have to go. Shut up. I'm probably gonna have to go through and like reorder my Friday the 13th ratings at some point, because the first one I think I gave it a 9 and it doesn't deserve more than a 7. And this one I had it as a 9 and I feel like it deserves an 8 because I like it a lot, but not because it's objectively an 8. You know, it's just this is just an 8 because I'm like, I like this movie.
Yeah, it's
you
kind of
know.
a no reason 8. It's just that it's a Friday the 13th movie,
It's
basically.
it's that nostalgia bump.
It's a sizable
No,
nostalgia
no.
bump.
No, there's no nostalgia bump for me because I never saw these when they were coming out in the 80s. Because I was not born yet. In the 80s. You
You
know,
heard it here first, folks. Noah wasn't born in the 80s.
in the 80s.
Going for the Village People bit again, okay.
In the 80s.
Anyway.
But will you
In
do it
the
again?
80s. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay,
Nina,
so
what
giving
did
it
you
an
think
8.
about this movie?
Nina also
Um,
gives it an 8, right, Nina?
I don't like slashers, and that has not changed.
What? I'm so shocked.
I think
But
I
you
think
gave Malignant
after-
a 9.
I
she
love
gave
Malignant.
Malignant a 9?
I gave Malignant like a 6.
I don't even
at
know if it
most.
deserves it or not, but I'm shocked.
I
gave
gave it a
Malignant a
9
9.
on the fun scale,
I did. I did give it a 9 on the fun scale.
and I'll never forgive you.
It was fun. Anyway, let's not get back into that. I think though, having given Malignant, having enjoyed Malignant and having like a lot of love in my heart for Candyman, I think that like 80s slashers are gonna have to. I'm gonna have to narrow the like category of what I'm not enjoying. And I didn't really like this one all that much. I think I liked it less. I think maybe I don't know. It's very fast paced, and there's not as much. There is a good amount of dicking around, but not as much as in the first one. The first one had that like really long shot of them all in the lake, and they're like jumping off the pier and stuff, and I could not have been less interested. I feel like this one rolls a little better.
A little.
So I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
it's
remember what I
mostly
gave.
helped by the fact that it's shorter by like
It is,
15
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, no, its shorter runtime helps. Mostly it just happened. I don't know what I gave the first movie. But I'm gonna give this one like a 5.
Okay, that's better than I
Yeah.
expected from you, actually.
Yeah.
It wins at being faster and at things happening faster.
Yeah.
And it did have one scene that made me laugh out loud. So
It is
True.
kind of funny at a couple of points. Emma, can I guess what
both
you're going to give it?
intentionally and unintentionally.
Sure, I'll let you guess.
I think you're
How
going to give
about,
it
how
like
about everybody guess what I'm gonna give it?
I think you're going to give it like a 2.
Okay.
I was gonna say a 3.
I'm with
Okay.
Jeff on a 2 here. I know that we shouldn't pick the same number, but I'm going to.
Okay. Valid.
2 and 99 cents.
So we haven't watched kind of like an older movie in a while on the podcast.
Oh, that's true.
No, it's a 1.
And I like
I don't like this
I
pause.
remember-
It's a 0, isn't it?
I remember like back in the day when we started doing the podcast, I was like, I've gotta like give a little bit of a bump to older movies because I just hate them anyway.
Oh.
But and like I gave Malignant, I think what, like a 2 or a 3 or something.
I think so.
And watching like an old movie right after that, and not just an old movie, but like a bad old movie,
Yeah.
reminds me why I hate them so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give this like a 1 or a 2.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah. Does it change your Malignant rating at all, knowing that there are movies worse than it?
No.
Oh, fair enough. A girl can dream.
I'll change my Malignant rating if Jeff changes his Gonjam rating to a 10.
Blackmail. That's classy.
Blackmail that's not going to work because I do not have a vested opinion in Malignant, so
That's true. I think I don't know that you would enjoy it.
I mean, I'll get back to all of you when I have seen it, but
Hell yeah.
I think you'll like it.
I bet you'd have fun with it. Him and Noah
given
agree a lot.
given all the balance of the qualities and the issues that this movie has, it for as short as it is, it does manage to drag for most of its length, which is impressive but annoying. I think because
Can I-
I love
can I guess?
Jason, I'm giving it like
Can
a
I guess?
6.5. Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's
I
not
should have
what-
given you time to guess.
That's not what I was gonna guess.
What was your guess?
I was gonna guess you were gonna give it a 4.
Oof. No, I could never be that harsh to my boy.
I think the dragging is something that like I as a non-fan of slashers have just chalked up to slasher trait. I feel like every slasher I watch drags.
They have
Because
a
it's got to do
tendency-
this build up to them getting slashed, and it doesn't want to like blow its load in the beginning, and it tries to have some level of suspense, but a lot of the time
It
that
edges,
just
is what
kind
you're
of
saying.
it's trying to. It doesn't do a good job. Mostly I'm just bored and I've decided that I'm hungry and not horny. So
Ooh, that is such a good way to describe the way this movie feels to watch. Because I think every time that I've watched it, I've been eating something.
I don't know that connection is actually as deep as you think it is.
No,
I-
but
no,
it's
he's onto
really funny
something.
that you say that.
Anyway,
It's
yeah,
fair,
no,
it's
I just consider like dragging to be a slasher trait. I don't think I've seen a slasher, even Candyman, which is like one of my favorite movies ever, and Malignant, which I thought was a rock and roll freaking ride. Both of them had periods where I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, Candyman does start kind of slowly.
What about
I think it works
what about
better
your
'cause-
favorite slasher movie, Freaky?
Oh, Freaky doesn't even like There's so much going on at all times.
Weren't you drunk?
I had 2 ciders. I would not say I was drunk.
I think that the level of impairedness might also have helped.
How fast
2
did you
ciders
drink
is
those
not a lot.
ciders, Nina?
Not fast.
Not
I was still
very.
yeah, no. Emma can vouch for me on this one. Yeah.
All right. I don't
They were
know.
good though. They were pretty good ciders.
Okay, this is a slasher. It features an awful lot of kills. So if that kind of violence bothers you, that's gonna be an issue. We got a couple of R slurs getting thrown around, which is really not great. We've got a good bit of just hardcore misogyny. Once again, slasher kind of par for the course, unfortunately. Have I
And
missed
then
anything?
we've got full nudity.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you
Full-
missed the nudity.
full
of the
I forgot to
female
mention the
kind.
nudity. I guess I filed that under misogyny for some reason. I
That's-
wonder why.
I mean,
Like
Uh,
literally, you get some bush, you get some boob.
Yeah, you
all
get
in
the
same
You get some
shot.
butt?
You get the whole thing. You
Mhm.
get the butt. Yeah,
yeah.
all of it.
and then later a second bush.
Yep. As an ace,
Yep.
that was
My
the
mom listens
scariest
to this
part of the
podcast.
movie.
Sorry you had to hear me say that, Linda. It's gonna get worse. Anyways.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I think that's it on triggers though.
So
Yeah.
how scary is this movie though?
No.
It's not. It's not scary?
No.
Okay.
It's a new year, Jeff.
You just
we've,
said that the
we've
bush
moved
was
on.
scary, Emma.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry. If you're an asexual like me
Ah.
and nudity frightens you, 10 out of 10.
Okay, there we go. We figured it out.
Ah, yes. That's how that works. Okay.
We made it
Yeah.
work.
Asexuals known for being frightened of nudity.
Right.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. So
So
the spoiled synopsis. I mentioned a group of the people running the camp head out to drink all night, and then some bad stuff happens. The bad stuff that happens is murders that are being performed by Jason with a bag over his head, and that's it.
Damn.
Yeah, no, that is it.
That's
It's basically
Pretty much the thing.
you meet the couples and you know that every single one of those couples except for like the main like character, like the ones with main character energy, you know that they're probably gonna it's a slasher, so you can kind of pick up on it. You know that
Yeah.
who's gonna survive and you know who's gonna die before the killings even start happening. It's just a matter of how it's gonna happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like, Jeff, you're neglecting a huge part of the plot in that 30 or 40 people go out drinking, and that is just a convenient way to remove them from the movie so that we don't have to think about
It
them
really
ever
kind
again.
of seems like they could have played with the setting a little bit differently and just not had that many people around. You know, maybe they
I
could
mean, it
say
makes
that they had
sense,
everyone
right?
out
Like,
there
they
like
needed their staff.
earlier in the planning process, maybe. Like I
You mean
understand
like
having
for
all the
Friday
staff,
one?
but maybe if we have like 3 couples worth of people, like, you know, the people who end up being around when the shit goes down, and they're like the higher up staff of the camp or something,
So
Mhm.
and
I
they
mean,
haven't like brought
I
everyone else in yet, something like that. I don't know.
Mhm. I actually disagree because personally, I like as far as like if I were a character in this universe and I heard about this tragedy, I think the way you'd hear about it would be like, oh, a small number of the staff died in this freak accident. If only they hadn't decided to be the only few ones who stayed behind that night, you know, blah blah blah.
Oh, that's
Um,
fair. Okay.
So that's kind of how I react to it. Is just because we're following them the whole time doesn't mean like that they needed to be the only ones around. It's kind of it's almost stranger that with Crystal Lake, almost everyone who was there died. It makes more
Yeah.
sense for like, oh, the killings, some of the staff. But like, and I do think it sets it apart from the first movie, even though the setup
That's
is
fair.
almost exactly the same.
Right,
But
yeah, that's
my
kind of
opinion.
one of the only things that differentiates the two from one another. I don't know, I guess I kind of wish that if they were gonna I wish they would have played into a subplot of like using the group that's out drinking to build tension, so you'd have moments like, oh no, are they gonna come back and find the corpses, or are they gonna come back in the middle of the murders? Is there gonna be like a, you know, like a confrontation of
Right.
some sort? I feel like they could have
Right,
played with
yeah.
that a little bit to make it more interesting, and they just didn't.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things they could have done but didn't. Like the whole having one of your main characters be a like child psychologist
Yeah, they could have
is
done more
a
with
great
that.
idea.
They
They
could
could
have
have
done
done
so
a
much with that.
lot with that. I love that idea. I love characters who like have a little bit of knowledge and are able to use that to kind of expand on the plot in a way that other characters in their same position would not have been able to. And while they try to do that, I think they spend so much time on setting up all the other couples that what she does at the end feels weird and out of nowhere, and why would you think that would work? I think
Yeah.
if there was like more development, if there was like if she had seen more of Jason interacting with like
Right.
the campers and
Well,
his mom's shrine and all of that.
if anything could actually have been known about Jason, period. Because there's that one scene where she's sitting in the bar and she's like kind of speculating
She's
about what Jason's situation might be, if he even still exists currently in the story.
and she just happens
she
to be
knows
right about all
nothing.
of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. In those sorts of scenes in these kinds of movies, when somebody says things like that, it happens in the Final Destination movies as well. When people say things like that, you're expected to take that as like the explanation of what is happening in the movie. But she's basing it all on literally nothing.
Literally, it's not like Dr. Loomis, who worked directly with
Yeah.
Michael and knew Michael and was a dick about it.
Yeah.
But
Man, I
Pure
fucking
evil.
love that though. He's just like, I worked with this kid, and now he's an adult, and I tell you, it's the first time I saw him,
I knew.
throw him in the trash.
I
Throw
would
him in the
love
garbage.
I would love to see the main character, the final girl from this movie, interacting with Dr. Loomis, because they have the exact opposite approaches to their respective slashers.
Imagine if
I
we
mean-
got to the end of this movie and Jason walked into the room and she was like, "Man, this guy just sucks. He's just pure evil."
There's
And
no
Jason was
saving
like,
this guy.
"Oh,
I have
man,
no
why would
sympathy."
you- Why would you say that? Why would you be so mean?" And she's like, "What, are you trying to say you've got feelings or something? You're evil." And he's like, "Well, not exclusively evil. I'm complicated,
I'm
you
just
know?
a scared little boy. I'm a scared
I
little
watched
boy.
my mom die and I didn't know what to do."
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. She and Loomis don't have a different approach to things, because except for the fact that Loomis comes in guns blazing, ready to shoot Michael dead, and this girl comes in and she's like, "Let me use psychiatry magic to murder you."
Oh,
Oh,
you're
that's
right. She
true.
does kind
That's
of
true.
go
That's
for
true.
him at the end there.
Like, she still tries to kill him.
All right, so
I mean, he has killed several
now
people
that we
at that
are
point.
we are in the spoiler zone, I do have a number of fun facts written down here.
Oh yeah, please.
I'm gonna start with the really, really bad one.
Oh yes,
We
please,
mentioned
Emma,
the-
get
Oh,
ready.
Emma.
We mentioned the
Oh, yeah.
volume of nudity that there is in this movie, and before we started recording, I
Yes.
mentioned there was originally going to be more. There was going to be another full frontal scene, even in the sex scene between Jeff and Sandra. But then after they filmed it, after they filmed it, they found out that the actress was underage.
No.
So they had
Not,
to
they
cut.
found out the actress was underage. Paramount found out the actress was underage.
Ah, yes. Paramount found out that the actress was underage, and they said, "You have to cut that. You cannot release that. That is, you know what that is."
Mhm.
So they cut it, and that footage does still exist in the
Does it?
possession of the guy who did a lot of the visual effects in the movie. Because
Holy
under
fuck.
some particular set of laws, people who work on movies in those kinds of fields are permitted to keep whatever footage that they want so that they can use it in like their demo reel, more or less. So he had basically a full uncut version of the movie in his possession so that he could use it to demonstrate his visual effects prowess. And it just happens to include that footage. And I'm sure that's not the reason that he kept it, right? It was for purely professional reasons.
I'm sure.
I
Allegedly.
trust him to do the right thing. So that's horrifying, right? Isn't that terrible?
Don't like
is
that.
really terrible.
Ah, now to the actually fun ones.
I hate it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Terrible. Kind of ruins what's left of any amount of good that might be in the movie. Makes it an awful lot less fun. So now with that knowledge, here's the actual fun shit. Well, actually, I've got another less fun one, so I'll lead with that. Adrian King, who played Alice in the first movie and is briefly in the beginning of this one getting killed by Jason right at the beginning, was originally contacted to be the main character of this movie as well. And when she turned that down, Paramount's official reason that they gave people for it was that she wanted more money than they were willing to give her. And that's the explanation that you will see in like the Crystal Lake Memories documentaries and stuff. The real reason is that after the first movie, she had a stalker who tried to kill
Oh.
her.
Oh.
Oh,
So she did
Wow.
not want, she was not raring for more publicity at the moment.
Yeah.
So she wanted her
That's
role to be
fair.
as small as it possibly could be if she was going to be in it.
Is that why they killed her off at the very beginning?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Which, I mean,
I thought
to-
that was just
To me, if I were in that exact situation in real life, I might not want to go recreate it in a movie for any
Yeah.
amount of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
I thought that was just maybe a tradition of in the Friday the 13th movies, whoever survives at the end of the previous movie gets killed at the beginning of the next movie.
See, it is, but not for the final girl of this particular movie. She does not come back at the beginning of the third one, but then after that, that pattern is established.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Also, you guys remember last year when we were talking about Halloween? The Halloween series was supposed to be an anthology series, a different, unrelated tale every time.
mhm.
When when the studio contacted the writers and producers, etc., to make another Friday the 13th movie, that was what they were thinking at first. They wanted this to
Yeah,
be an
I mean, it
anthology
kinda makes
series.
sense.
Continue copying Halloween, make it an anthology series.
Of course.
Yeah. Makes sense. But then
But
they really
then
continued
the studio
copying
insisted that they not do that, and that's why almost nobody who worked on the first one was involved in this second one, because
Oh.
they saw that it was being pushed to be a sequel featuring Jason as a killer, and they were like, well, that doesn't make any sense. That's not, it doesn't
How does it not
work.
make sense, writers? You fucking had him at the end of the movie.
Well, that was supposed to be like a dream sequence, though.
Oh.
Not actual
guess.
reality was the idea. But
The fact that this is one of those situations where the fact that it went this way means that reading the original intent is kind of hard because it's like, oh, how could you not have meant for it to keep being Jason? Because it being Jason ended up working so well in the long run. But yeah, I can also see, like, just watching the first movie, how it clearly is also supposed to be a like hallucination or something.
right. Well, but also, I mean, if we're talking original intent, the script of the first one was written when the writer was told, make a copy of Halloween. And that's what we've got
Right.
here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so there's that. Little odd thing in the credits, Warrington Gillette is credited as Jason, and then Steve Dash, who's a stuntman, is credited as Jason's stunt double. Steve Dash is the one who plays Jason throughout the entirety of the movie. Anytime that you see Jason with the bag over his head and such, in those big baggy jeans, that's Steve Dash. The only time that Warrington Gillette plays Jason is right at the end when we see him without the bag on his head.
Oh,
very
long
funny.
hair Jason. I
Yeah.
did want to talk about that. That's Noah told me that is not an accepted canon Jason appearance for the most part.
Yeah, they
No one
ditch
likes
it as soon
long
as
hair
the
face Jason.
even as soon as the third movie picks up, he doesn't have that hair. You see the back of his
Mhm.
head a few times. He doesn't have it. So
yeah,
nobody liked it.
they
Nobody
got
wanted
rid
to
of his
stick with it.
hair. They
That's really interesting because I didn't. Maybe this is again my fucking malignant like bias hanging over my head. I didn't think it looked that bad. Genuinely,
Yeah,
I didn't think it was that bad of a design.
I don't know that
I
I
hate
mind
it.
the idea of him looking like that because that kind of he kind of looks like he's been living in that shack in the woods by himself for 5 years. Like
Right.
that seems like it's how he would look.
Right,
Um,
and he looks. Yeah, I have a lot of kind of issues with Jason, but not enough to like
Well,
actually talk about them. You know,
yeah.
like there's like I don't think it needs to be said. you know, how his portrayal can be like kind of but like it's all been said before. I don't feel like I need to add to that.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The most fun fact that I have. The
Ooh, the
first
funnest
time
of facts.
the first time that we see Jason's legs at the beginning of the movie,
Mhm.
them's a woman's legs in those jeans and
What?
boots.
Wow.
And you can tell the difference, not in the way that she walks or anything, but because the jeans that she's wearing fit a lot better than the jeans that we see Jason's legs wearing later on in the movie.
That's so funny.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Were they going
I have
with
absolutely no idea why they didn't have Steve Dash on hand to film that. I don't know what the story behind that is. I just know that that's a woman's legs. I don't know who even.
maybe
Oh
they
my
were like, maybe we
God.
can get them to think it's the mom again, like she's back.
Who even
That's
knows?
like one of my favorite things about like old slasher like production like behind the scenes stuff is it sounds like the kind of behind the scenes stuff you hear at a summer camp like where they're filming the promos and they
Right.
just one of the staff had to be like taking care of their cabin while they were filming this promo and so they didn't have them on hand but they're supposed to be in the scene so they just
They
had
just put
someone else wear their
in.
jacket.
Yeah. Well, that kind of thing. And like also like it's in the first Halloween movie. Like most of the time that you see Michael, it's not Nick Castle wearing the mask, it's some other dude. They only had him on hand for like half of the movie for some reason, apparently.
That's so weird because like
What were they paying
that's
him
so
for?
funny. That's so funny to me.
Honestly.
Like what's going
Oh my
on here? It can
gosh.
be any guy with a bag on his head. Like but
It's so casual. It's
Right?
like it is so extremely casual. You don't get that level of just like nonsense in movie production anymore.
okay, but the feeling that it gives me in this particular movie is like right after, well, I mean, 5 years pass in between that early scene and the rest of the movie. So there is that. That first scene, it's not properly shown in the movie, but that, when we see Alice getting killed, that took place like 2 months after the first movie. And then the entire rest of the events of this movie take place 5 years after that. They do
Oh.
not explain it well enough in the movie.
I was gonna say, did not know that.
Right? Very dumb, very dumb. But the way that it ends up feeling to me is like after that scene, Jason was like, I gotta go buy myself a new pair of jeans. Because the ones that he wears through the rest of the movie are like a very dark blue. They look like he just bought them. And they also look
They
like
do,
they
don't
really,
they?
really don't fit him. So it kind of seems to me like that's the first pair of jeans he bought without his mom there helping him. And he just couldn't figure
Oh, no,
out the
that's
sizing.
sad. Don't say that.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking like his jeans shopping experience is very similar to the one that I have every goddamn time I go to buy a pair of jeans, which is where he
You know
goes
what, that's
there. And
fair.
it's not hard to find the ones that fit, but it's just slow enough that as soon as he's there, he's like, good God, can this just be over? I'll take anything. I'll just wear jeans that don't fit for the next 6 months. I don't care. I just want to be done buying jeans. Because that happens to me every fucking time.
That is
I can relate to that.
that is relatable.
Oi.
Oi.
Boy, indeed.
Boy.
Anybody got like
Yeah.
any kind of notable thoughts about?
Does every movie end with like a weird jump scare out of nowhere?
I want to say the first
Jason-
5.
The first like 5,
Yeah, they keep that
I
as a
think so.
fairly consistent thing. I think what
and then the person wakes up and they're like, "What happened?"
I don't
And they're in
think
an
I don't think
ambulance.
they do that in the third or the fourth ones because spoilers on the. I know you don't care, so I can spoil this. Spoilers on the third
You're
one.
right.
It ends with everyone thinking that Jason is dead, and then the next movie starts and it turns out that he's not.
Hmm.
Go figure.
So I don't think there's a "oh no, he's alive" scare at the end of that one.
At the end of
Got
the
it.
third one?
Yeah, same with the fourth
Right.
as well.
Because I remember the third one.
No, because there's a
The third one has the mom.
Isn't there a
doesn't it?
dream sequence
Is there?
moment?
Oh right,
Yeah,
where like
'cause one of
where
'em-
Pam comes back suddenly.
Yeah, it's Pam.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had a figure of that where I used to work, which is the weirdest thing
That's
to make a
very
full blown
strange.
figure of, but it
Very
was
strange.
it was specifically Water Pam.
That's weird.
I think about that a lot. Of
Why?
all the horror figures we had.
Yeah, why that? Why not regular Pam?
Right?
Why not
Right?
dead Pam with her head off? Like, what?
Right?
Why water?
There's a whole
Pam?
lot of Pams
I
that make
think there's
more
a
sense.
Jason figure that we did have that Pam's head was an accessory that came with it.
Okay.
Similar to how we had a reanimator where the head was an accessory as well.
Oh, okay.
Very fun one. We had some fun figures. We had 3 separate Michael Myers figures that were each like $200 to $300.
It's not enough. You
Um,
need more.
Groovy,
More
mate.
Michael.
Emma, did you ever hear about how my sister has a friend who knew she was into Michael Myers, but confused Mike Myers and Michael Myers?
Oh no.
So she kept sending her like
Shrek memes.
memes and like Mike Myers content, and she's like, "Isn't this funny?" And my sister was like, "Yeah, I guess."
Sure,
And she's
but-
like, "Do you like it, right?" She's like, "Kind of."
That's amazing.
Isn't this that guy you like?
Mike Myers. Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Isn't it just? Every time she reminds me of that story, it makes me laugh a lot.
So how
yeah.
is this like the Jason in this movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like Jason's brother or something?
Nope.
No,
It's
that's
just Jason.
No, but like Jason has a hockey mask. And this
No,
this
no,
one
he starts
didn't.
wearing the hockey
He gets
mask
the hockey
in the
mask
next
in the
movie.
next movie.
And I have
Yeah,
a
but
theory as to why that is.
that has to be a different character entirely because that Jason's way cooler.
Right, yeah.
I mean-
he
I
has
mean, he
no
is way
hair.
I mean, he does start being characterized
Like
a little bit
the
differently.
Jason in
but-
this movie has thin spaghetti arms, but the Jason that I've seen is big and
It's
bulky.
just a
They
beefy
can't
Well,
be
I
the
mean-
same person.
He is played by a different actor in almost every single movie. In this case, it's Steve Dash, who is a stuntman and not like, a big jacked dude, really, quite so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do want to talk a little bit about his characterization in this, which this is a great transition. Thanks, Emma.
It is.
Jason is not
welcome.
really the unstoppable killing machine that we all know him to be in this movie. There are
Mhm.
several scenes while he's trying to kill Ginny that he fumbles what should be a very simple kill.
Oh my god. When he falls off the fucking chair,
Yes!
I
Yes!
lost it.
Hold
Yeah,
up.
no, that's
like
very
when he
funny.
climbs on top of her car and he sticks the pitchfork down through her folding roof, he could very easily have just stabbed down into her head, but instead he chose to rip a hole in the roof, try to reach down and unlock the door so he could get into the car, and then he just falls off the car. And he falls down a lot. And every time that he
does.
falls down, he doesn't just bounce back up. He
No, he
lies there
doesn't.
for a minute and he's like, oh man, I really fucked it up this time. And then he gets back up. And like Jenny just
It almost
at one
seems
point
like
while
he
he's
doesn't
chasing
really want to
her-
be doing it.
Okay, so there is a theory that there's some sort of a reason that he doesn't want to actually kill her, that he's giving her chances to escape on purpose. And if you watch it with that in mind, it really feels like that's what's going on. The writers were not thinking that, obviously. It's not intended.
No.
No.
But they really made Jason fumble his way through like a solid 20 straight minutes of the movie. He acts like a regular dude, not like an unstoppable killing force. Like at one point while he's chasing
Yeah.
her, she just kicks him in the balls and he goes down. Like that would never happen in the fourth or the
Not
sixth
my
movie.
Jason.
Yeah, not my Jason.
My Jason doesn't have balls.
He doesn't need him. What would he need him for? Fucking? He doesn't do that. He disapproves.
gonna lose it.
He doesn't blast squirt all over the.
Why would you say that?
I don't like that I said that.
Why would you say that?
That is the worst way you could
don't like
possibly have
that I
said
said
that. Wow. Once again, my mom listens to this podcast. I'm so sorry that you had to hear that from your adopted daughter. Anyways.
I'm uninvited from Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So
This
I'll
is
take
gonna
over
be the-
for a hot second.
He does not.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Jason, as everyone knows him, is from the late movies where
Yeah.
he is undead.
Yeah, where he's actually
And he
invincible.
doesn't become undead Jason until what, like
6.
6?
Yeah.
And sure, 4, 5, they had like
He's
a
not in
lot of
5.
ability to them.
Spoilers
It-
again.
Yes, I know, Jeff, but the Jason figure is there. I'm talking about killing potential. I'm not talking about anything specific. You fucking spoiler
Okay,
bitch.
I just context for Emma, you know.
What am I gonna? I'm gonna
No,
know everything
Emma
about
gets-
the 5th movie. What am I gonna? What can I talk about in 4 years when we talk about the 5th movie for Halloween?
Exactly.
Well, 3 years now.
Shut
Don't correct
up.
my math.
Anyway, so yeah, we have some more like classic Jason action in 4 and 5, like in the killing potential realm,
Yeah.
but like real Jason killing machine doesn't really kick in until 6.
Yeah.
And it's just like it is what it is. And then 7, he kills a lot of people, and then 8, he goes to Manhattan.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
then
Jason
9, he
takes
goes to
Manhattan.
hell.
I feel like Jason Takes Manhattan and Freddy vs. Jason is where our idea of classic Jason comes from.
Mhm.
It's certainly not from these earlier movies.
Yeah, our
Mhm.
most iconic visual of Jason, I think, is in 7. I think that's where we get one of our most stereotypical Jason outfits.
Which
Because
is that
It's
the one where
very
he starts
similar to the
wearing that
one-
like blue jacket?
I think so.
Okay.
Why can't we?
It's
just
it's the
skip
one
ahead
where
to
he doesn't
those?
have bones yet.
Mm.
What?
Yeah, well, when he
Boneless
turns into a zombie,
Jason.
Emma.
Okay, we're getting
Boneless
ahead of
Jason.
ourselves in this, I think.
Okay, yeah, we are. But the point is that like Jason in his first 2 appearances is dead useless. He's just not good
Little
at what he
bit.
does.
He's a little bit.
I think we're
useless.
all forgetting the most humanizing scene of Jason in this movie, which is when he takes the whistling kettle off of the burner at Alice's place for some reason.
Yeah.
Why does he do
No,
that?
Because it's
was
annoying.
We're
annoying.
forgetting the most humanized
It hurts his little
part
baby ear.
Exactly.
where he didn't actually kill the cute dog.
That's true.
He did.
That
I
is true.
defin-
He
That's
did
true.
not kill the dog.
Or the
Screen
cat.
literacy would tell us when we cut away from the dog to frying meat in a pan that the dog is in the pan, or at the very least that the dog is dead. But no, the dog
The
is
dog
alive.
is not dead.
Yeah.
The dog
The
is
dog
very
is
cute.
Jason.
Bum, bum,
I figured it out.
The dog is super cute though.
It's
Can't
the
believe it.
purple bow that she's wearing. That's a regular dog. The bow fools you.
I love Noah doesn't like little dogs.
I hate little dogs.
I have a soft spot for dumb little dogs. They're so
I
cute.
like
I'm gonna
little
have a little
dogs.
dog. I just want a cat.
But
Because
we
if I
can't
drop
have
the
cats
cat,
in this apartment.
it's gonna be fine.
And
But
we
if I
can
drop the
have
little dog, it'll
dogs.
be like, boom.
Why are you planning on
You know what I mean?
dropping animals? You
I'm
weirdo.
not, but I need to plan around these things. I'm a tall person, Jeff.
Ah.
If I pick up an animal, then that dog's like 20 feet in the air, according to it.
What?
Anyway,
Dog inches are, 7
Oh,
dog
of course.
inches or a human
7
inch.
dog inches to a human inch. Yeah.
Exactly.
do we have anything else we want to talk about with this movie? There's not a lot.
No, there's
We
some
have
fun.
Noah's
There's some
nose.
fun
There's a
stuff
couple
that
of
happens
just
in it,
small,
though.
insignificant things.
A man in a wheelchair falls down several flights of stairs.
And that
Ew.
is the actual.
He's already dead at that point.
That is the
but
actual actor in the chair when they shoot that, though. They didn't
Yikes.
switch him out with like a stuntman or a mannequin or something. That's the same dude.
Was the actual actor disabled?
I don't know.
I don't
that.
believe so. I don't think he was.
Okay. Cause that's like my thing is
Right.
I was talking to Noah about this and I was like, if I like putting myself in the shoes of a disabled person watching this, I can't imagine like watching that scene. That would be so like visceral and personal to me.
That
like,
seems like it
oh
would be
my
rough.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a rough one to watch. So I can't imagine making a disabled actor shoot that scene. If you have to use a wheelchair every day, and they're like, "Hey, let's film your one of the worst possible things that could happen to
I
you."
don't believe that they just set him in the wheelchair and then kicked him down the stairs. I think there's like a track that it's on, and they did something to
Oh,
make sure it
okay.
wouldn't fall down. It would still feel pretty scary, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, yeah. But that was it. Like it's a cool kill. But that scene is another one that just like
yeah.
I kind of lost it when it happened because it's just like you kill the guy in the wheelchair and then you have the audacity to make him fall down all the stairs. That unfortunately just makes it kind of comedic to me that like you set up this situation, this pratfall, if you will. It's just ridiculous. It's not as funny as the chair scene because that came out of nowhere. It wasn't set up. I wasn't thinking, oh my god, this character's gonna fall.
Yeah.
It was he goes to stab her and the chair just falls.
Yeah, like she comes out from under the bed and he's like, gotcha, and then it's like, ugh!
I was laughing so hard. Oh my god.
About the mask, though. Just to hop back to that.
Oh yeah, you have your mask
Okay,
theory.
so the bag over his head, right? Is it has been pointed out is extremely similar to the use of a bag over a head in a previous movie titled The Town That Dreaded Sundown, in which the killer wears a bag over his head with a hole cut in it.
It do be very similar. The same
Everyone-
overall and like plaid shirt combo too.
Everyone on the
it's a little
planet
close.
spotted that when watching this movie, and I think that's the reason that they switched to the hockey mask in the next movie. I think they
That makes
got
sense.
a little backlash about that, and they were like, "Well, we can't copy other movies.
No way,
We
really?
gotta-"
They got backlash about the real life murderer that dressed exactly like their cartoon man.
Oh, is The Town That Dreaded Sundown based on a real story? Holy
I'm
shit!
pretty sure it is, isn't
Ooh.
it?
I mean,
I'm
also
talking
that's
out
what
my ass right
that's
now,
the
but
kind
I'm
of
pretty
shit
sure.
that like the KKK did in real life before they were ever featured in movies and suddenly had like the white sheet to do. Like their
And then
original thing
Django
was
Unchained
just
was like, let's take it back to the bags.
yeah,
with
let's
holes
make these
cut in
guys
them.
look like idiots again because that's what they are. Like
Okay, so it was loosely based around real events.
Okay.
My mistake.
close enough.
However, it still was.
Yeah.
What old movie didn't at least claim to be based off of true events?
I mean, really. Thanks, Texas
Yeah, it's also
Chainsaw
fair.
Massacre.
Yeah.
Everyone's really afraid of the concept of weird cannibal people living in the hills. Weird.
That's the basis of like 7 different series, yeah. But yeah, I think the reason that they switched to the hockey mask for the next movie is because they were like, well, we can't keep copying forever. We have to do something original at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then they stopped being original forever after that.
That sounds about right.
um,
But you know what? I honestly I do feel like these movies end up getting their own voice in their lack of originality. Up until Jason Takes Manhattan, and then it's like, what are you doing? You're ruining the formula. Get back, get out of Manhattan.
yeah, go back to New Jersey, Jason. What are you doing?
And then both of the movies that New Line put out were not great. They were fun, but like they weren't great.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind
Not
of
good Jason movies.
that is kind of the Friday the 13th thing, though.
I mean, Jason Goes to Hell makes him canonically a deadite.
Yeah.
So, and that's a stupid thing to do.
Like, from Evil Dead.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Okay,
Evil
then
Dead,
let's
yeah, the
let's switch our
actual-
subject back to
It's not
something
important.
everyone in the
Yeah.
everyone here knows about.
That's
then
the thing.
let's talk
Like, yeah.
about the dead mom
Mhm.
shrine in Jason's shack.
Oh, let's talk about
Yeah,
the
that's
dead
weird.
mom
like
shrine
that thing
and
holds a ton of implications that we are all just completely and that the writers completely ignored for the entire rest of the series because he, after killing everyone that he kills, he moves their bodies to the shack and arranges them around the dead mom shrine, which has her sweater, her head, and a bunch of lit candles. And it ends up feeling as though he's committing all these murders in an attempt to bring her back. And that is so much more interesting than anything they fucking do with this character over the next 30 years.
honestly,
Yeah.
I fully agree with you.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that
It's-
could have been going on there, and they just don't explore it at all.
Right. And that's the other going back to what I said about like having Jenny like expand on her theories more. Like it's I think it's another thing where like in a lot of older movies they don't bother to like actually explain what's like going on.
Yeah.
In a way, they just kind of let things happen and you kind of have to accept it for what it is. Like I wish there had been somewhere where they had set up that kind of idea
Yeah.
a little more of him trying to bring her back. I wish that her dressing up as Pam, which she does, I wish there had been a little more shorthand for it. Feels like Jason's hanging on to that connection by a thread throughout that whole.
Yeah.
Like she has to put a lot of effort to maintain that facade.
Yeah.
I wish we had seen it be more like a Jason thinks his plan worked and less of a Jason is being very barely held together
Yeah.
by this facade.
Yeah, like if he
You know?
actually thought it worked, maybe he would like walk into the room and like see her and she says like, "I'm your mother," and like he drops the pickaxe and runs over and hugs her or something, and then it's like during the hug that he sees the head still sitting on the shrine and he's like, "Oh, this is fake."
Yeah, exactly. Or she has to keep up that very stressful facade until Paul makes it over there to help her out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, which she does in the movie itself. It wouldn't have been a big change. I think it just would have strengthened what they had already set up and made it more coherent. It just stresses how little of a plan they had going into these movies, where they were just like,
Right.
and then wouldn't it be creepy if it's like there's a way to have that make sense. You just have to do the extra legwork to like get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to hear my not really a theory, but my idea of what they should have been doing?
Absolutely.
And you can even, with the lack of thought that went into the first one, you can even do this starting just from the second one, with the first one remaining untouched. Though it would be better if you could alter the first one a little bit. We're never given any explanation as to how it is that Jason is currently alive, since we all know that he drowned in the lake when he was a child.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the camp closed due to Pam's first series of murders. If we were to have found out that Pam's first series of murders were as part of like a dark magic thing to bring Jason back,
Oh.
and it worked, and then he grew up, and then she got killed, and then he started trying to recreate the same dark magic thing that she did by killing all these people to try and bring her back, that could make the two of them a much more interesting set of characters, right?
It really could.
And it would make the story actually make any amount of sense.
It would make so much more sense, and it would set up something that you could easily like, roll into the next few movies as much as you want to, and eventually just have it be he doesn't even remember why he's doing this. This is just the thing that
Yeah.
he's been doing for so long, you know?
Mhm.
Like that's almost frustrating how much
Right.
better that could be for something that's such a well-established property. It's like, oh, you could have been like actually good.
Yeah, like this actually could have been kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh well, just gonna be thinking about that till I die now.
Right?
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Yeah.
I think there are better things to think about until you die. I am very smart.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, things like what's in Noah's notes.
What is in Noah's notes?
I didn't know I had notes.
They're right
Holy
there.
shit.
Oh.
All right, you ready? Everyone ready for Noah's notes? What are we thinking for a theme song here?
No more Mr. Notes Guy. No more mystery. I can't hit that high note. Alice Cooper.
That's really good. That's really, really good.
Holy shit. Okay. 10 out of 10.
love
Coming
that.
back with a vengeance here.
I
Okay.
shouldn't have tried for something with a
Um,
high note in it, though. My throat's not ready.
Well, you know what? It's the thought that counts. Okay. The first one I'm going to read is a meta note, actually. It says, "Sometimes I feel like my notes are just channeling CinemaSins. Mom who doesn't understand how her daughter needs time to cope with tragedy. Ding. Fuck CinemaSins. They suck ass." Which is valid.
Yeah.
I really hate CinemaSins.
Yeah.
And you're also
That's
yeah, no. I also feel that way when I'm watching movies a lot of the time, that like I'm nitpicking things that don't need nitpicked, but also sometimes movie bad.
If anyone
Sometimes.
wants, the YouTuber Sean, you may be familiar with his work on socialism.
sorry, his name's
Um,
just Sean.
It is
yeah,
just
it's
Sean.
just Sean.
SEAN, I think, or is it SHAWA?
I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter.
There's
You'll
too
find
many
him.
ways to spell
He's
Too
got a
Sean.
many ways
skull
to
with
spell Sean.
glasses. He has an entire video or two devoted to why CinemaSins is bad.
And they're very good.
And
videos.
he like goes
Nice.
point by point, like the notes within a single movie that contradict each other, or the notes that specifically
If you would just
ignore-
watch the fucking movie, you would know.
yeah,
the
where
answer
it's like you
to.
specifically ignore things for
Yeah,
misleading.
it's very good. You should
Yeah.
watch it.
I would-
Okay.
I would recommend it.
All right.
10 out of 10. We've got Yes, girl, get that ice pick. Hold it the wrong way and all that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what her plan was there, but she tried. We have Kat. Then we have a note about the burner and Jason forgetting to turn it off. And then we have Kat's totally going to eat her dead body in it.
That's
So-
entirely possible.
I would even say plausible.
We have the background activity of their car getting towed. Marvel movies can only dream of this level of detail.
I forgot that was a prank. So I'm like watching it get towed in the background. I'm like, look at that. And I thought it was the funniest thing. know?
I love how the one guy just looks like a New York cabbie. That redhead, like nothing happens to him. What is it, Ted? Nothing
I don't
happens
even remember
to
his
him.
name. Yeah, he's present for the parts of the movie that nothing happens, and then he's gone as soon as stuff starts happening.
He does
Straight
get
up,
killed. He gets stabbed through with a spear.
I don't
He
even
was in
remember
the
that.
underage sex
I
scene.
legitimately don't even remember that part.
No, that's a different dude.
No, that was him.
The redhead?
No, Ted's the
I'm sorry. I forgot.
No, you're thinking of
No,
Jeff
yeah,
with
no.
the cabbie hat.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I got confused with cabbie hat, and then I looked up and I read note with a name, and I confused the two.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no.
redhead Ted talks too fast.
He talks way too fast. I could not understand almost half of his dialogue. He was on screen before we turned on subtitles, and I could not tell you even the gist of what he said.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you he was speaking English. I just could not understand him. He's also friggin' ripped. That is a note in here. Holy shit, Ted
Yeah.
is ripped as hell.
That's kind of
Why
odd.
is he so ripped?
Kind of unexpected.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, you
unexpected.
see him and you're like, oh, that's just a beanpole boy, and then he's got those abs.
He's
Mhm.
got abs.
And
yeah,
he's
with a capital
just
A.
not funny.
Wiry as
He's
hell.
really not funny. Yeah.
We have the scene where they're all hanging out on the porch before half of them go out drinking, and the ones who stay behind take the flag down and follow flag code perfectly, which is not something that you see
That's
a lot.
Curious touch, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's dark. It's time to put the flag away.
And they
Yeah.
don't let it touch the ground
Yeah,
and
they
everything
fold
that
it
you're supposed to
correctly and-
do.
Yeah, what
Which I
is
think
the
you
deal
see a
with
lot. I think that's more of a like 80s thing and an old fashioned thing because everyone I know who taught me flag code were the type of people who would run a summer camp.
that?
And everyone I know who discards flag code are surprisingly the people who you would think would care.
Huh.
But they don't.
Well, how about that? It's
What
just
else do we
odd to
have?
include that in the movie at all, though, right? Like,
Right?
it's
Mhm.
weird. It's
I
runtime
wonder-
padding. The movie's already
I
short.
wonder if it's
and
runtime
they're padding the
padding?
runtime.
It definitely is padding.
The first
It's
one was
definitely
padded
padding.
straight to hell. So
It was just
Yeah, they
nothing
had
happened.
a 30-minute movie idea that they stretched into 80.
yeah. If the first and second were the same movie, I feel like you could fit both these plot lines into a 145 kind of movie.
Mhm. I'm realizing I took no notes for a solid 10 minutes, but it was just set up for a sex scene, and some stuff at the bar. I mean, I guess Mark died, but like, I don't know.
Who gives a shit about Mark? I'm glad he's dead. Dude's awful.
Which one was Mark?
I don't even know which one Mark was.
He's the guy
Scott
who
was the really
stole
awful one.
Butt Girl's clothes while she was skinny dipping.
No, wasn't that
yeah.
Scott? I thought that was Scott. I thought Mark was the guy in the wheelchair.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Sorry, it's Scott
Yeah.
that I hate. Mark was fine.
Yeah, Mark was fun. Mark spent the whole movie
Mark's the
being like,
best guy
yeah,
in this movie.
The names in this movie are Scott, Ted, Jeff, and Paul, okay?
Yeah.
And Jason.
It's just a bunch of
But-
generic white dudes.
If you gave
we
me
can't
one of
get it
those
straight.
tests where it's like names on the left and then pictures on the right and asked me to connect them, I could,
Could
not.
not.
Oh, they also all, except for Mark, they all look the same. Well, okay. Weasley Cabby Boy looks Weasley.
He does.
And Mark is in a wheelchair. And the other two or three, everyone looks
Yeah,
the
there's
same
like
except
three
Ted.
other dudes who
Yeah.
just
Like, there's-
aren't present
three
in the
brunettes.
story, but they're there.
They're just there.
Yeah.
And if Ted didn't have red hair, I would immediately confuse him with everyone else too.
Oh, also, before we get back to the notes, real quick, is it cold out or not during this movie? Because there are
good
scenes where
question.
we've got some people wearing
Emma.
very thin crop
I know
tops
exactly
and
what you're
other people
talking
in
about.
the same scene that are wearing like sweaters and jackets at the same time.
Oh, I do not. I thought you were referring to the fact that like women's nipples are
That
poking through
also.
their outfits the entirety
That
of the
also.
movie.
I was trying to
That's
avoid
a good
saying
thing
that
to
out
pull
That
loud
is
because
true.
I think we've put my mom through enough in this episode. But yes, I was
Tyler,
referring to the
uh,
nipples. But
No,
like,
you're absolutely correct.
well, like, I mean, yeah, the nipples are visible because of how thin that crop top that she's wearing is. But then the person sitting right next to her at the same table is wearing a jacket. Is it cold out or not? And then she goes skinny
Yeah.
dipping, which she would not do if it was cold enough for everyone to be wearing jackets. But then she does it. Like, I cannot figure
Right?
out what the weather is here.
Well, it's supposed to be summer, right? Because it's a summer.
They
camp.
shoot these
Early
almost
summer.
exclusively in like November most of the time.
Oh my god.
In the making of one of the sequels after this one, there's a scene where an actress almost got hypothermia
Oh yeah,
because they had
her in the water
in
for
the
so
water
long.
for too long, and whoever it was that was playing Jason in that one was like, "You've got to get her out of the water and warm her up, or else I'm
That was
leaving."
Oh, that was Marine Corps Jason. We had an ex-Marine playing Jason.
Yeah,
in
he
that
was like a
one, and that's
drill
where he got
sergeant.
his like his signature like fast walk and movement and stuff.
Yeah, that was when he stopped running because he runs in this one a good
Mhm.
bit.
Yeah. But he's like, I will never run as Jason, and he was like super mechanical movement and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, helped define the character.
I think
Really,
that's. Oh, honestly,
that guy also made a lot
Alright,
of
I'm
creepy
gonna-
comments about how he liked to chase screaming girls. So,
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I'm gonna finish these notes real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We have I do love how sloppy Jason is in this movie. He's trying, but boy howdy, he's a mess.
yeah.
We have I'm sorry, did she just piss herself out of fear of the mouse? How did I forget that?
It's a rat,
Yeah,
Noah.
what was-
It's a rat.
Oh, I'm sorry. She was so afraid of the rat that she peed her.
She was
pants.
also being afraid of Jason simultaneously. It was just too
I'm-
many things all at once, Noah.
I'm just saying it was a really weird inclusion.
I'm more
that did
concerned
not
about
need
how
to be there.
dark that urine was. That girl needs water.
Doesn't everyone?
Um
I'm very smart.
we have we have Jason running up in the background is so fucking funny. Yeah, I did laugh at that as well.
Oh yeah, when she's in the house and just in the background, she's boom, 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 coming at him.
Yep. And then we have fucking long hair hillbilly Jason, which I just want to point out there is an image of Jason wearing the hockey mask and having long hair on your poster.
Is there?
Which
on
one?
the far far right.
That's
Like
interesting.
very right.
Oh yeah, no, that's wispy hair, Jason.
Wispy
There's some
hair
wispy
Jason.
hair in some of the later movies.
I would kind of
Okay.
like the hockey mask hair combination to be part of his image, though. I feel like that would be good.
I feel like it could be good.
I feel like if he never takes his mask off again, it's too soon.
That's
Agreed.
Also fair. Yeah, it kind of
There's,
seems like
like,
it would be best if we
one-
just never saw his face.
There's one corpse face Jason that I like, and it's not the one we spend the most time on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for Noah's notes. Do we have anything else we want to add?
I've got the results of the Floyd test here. If you guys want to hear about it.
Oh,
I would
yes,
love to hear the
please.
results of the
absolutely.
Floyd.
So
I think honestly, that's the thing I care about the most.
it's
at this
definitely the reason that everyone has listened to this episode so far. So
Oh, for sure.
this movie is about an hour and a half long. Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd is only 45 minutes, so it only covers the first half of the movie. However, I
Mhm.
do think that it is objectively just a way more fun way to watch the first half of the movie, because you get to skip most of the drag. If you know what's going on in a Friday the 13th movie, the story really doesn't matter. So, honestly, if even if you haven't seen the movie before, I recommend doing this because the album ends in time for, the last half of the movie, which is before the cool stuff starts happening. Like, you don't really get your first full look at Jason until like an hour and 5 minutes in. So like most of the kills, or like, most of the actual action takes place after the album would end, and you don't need to know about the characters before that. There's a surprising amount of stuff that lined up. Obviously, I'm not trying to claim that there was anything intentional about this. I don't think there's any
think he's trying
real
to claim it's
significance
intentional.
here. But stuff lined up. So, and obviously
See,
that's
what
only
you need to
coincidental,
do-
but what's up?
You need to do the Paul Blart thing though, where you watch it and then the soundtrack repeats and you see what happens in the next half.
Ah,
Yeah.
If I had more time
You're-
today, I would do that. I would have done that. But I did not, so I just stopped after it ended, halfway through the movie.
I can't believe you're such a quitter and you decided not to watch Friday the 13th Part 2 for a third time over the course of 2 weeks.
Right? All right, so I started the movie, just for reference for anyone who wants to play along at home. I started the movie right after the Paramount logo when the name Steve Miner came up on the screen right at the beginning. That's when I started the album at.
Okay.
Did you find that starting point online or anything?
No, I just
or...
looked at it and I was like, this is the point that makes sense.
Okay.
Hmm.
There you go. Nice.
So, I mean, you know, if you watch the beginning of the movie and you find a different point that you think makes more sense, do that. Maybe it works better for you than it did
I'm
for
gonna.
me. Maybe it works worse.
Yeah.
But for me, okay, so the album starts just with like some sound effects and some heartbeat sounds and stuff. And then there's that like screaming, wailing vocal part. And then the first real song, Breathe, starts. All right, the first chord of Breathe hits right as it cuts from the view of the outside of the house to the shot of Alice lying on her bed dreaming.
That's so
That
good.
happens just as the first chord hits. The lyrics start just at the point where Pam Voorhees grabs her in the flashback and shakes her. That happens the first time that David Gilmour says breathe. Like it lined up
Oh, that's
almost
cool.
perfectly. Very cool.
Nice.
The line "Run, Rabbit, Run" happens just as Pam starts running at her with the knife, and they start fighting.
Nice.
Nice.
And then 2 whole songs go by before anything matches up again. I was really annoyed because I thought the cat fake out scare or maybe the ice pick kill would line up with the beginning of the first guitar solo in time. But the guitar
Yeah.
solo starts between those 2 events. It doesn't line up actually with anything. Very annoying.
Incredibly unfortunate.
So yeah, the entirety of, you know, the entire second half of Breathe, the entirety of On the Run, the entirety of Time, nothing matches up whatsoever. I was really hoping that like the plane crash sound effect in On the Run would happen in time with like Pam's decapitation. That did not happen.
Mhm. Sorry to hear that.
Right? Okay, so then Home starts up after Time is over, and for anyone who's not familiar with Pink Floyd, Home is basically just a reprisal of Breathe. As he sings the lyric "Home, Home Again," it fades in on the truck driving into Crystal Lake, which I thought was kind of neat. Then, you know, an awful lot of time goes by. Well, I mean, the first intense part of The Great Gig in the Sky happens as they're starting to chase the tow truck, which is kind of funny. Really, the biggest thing about this experiment is that it makes the early half of the movie a lot funnier to watch.
That's good.
Money. When money
I feel
starts,
like that's the way to do it, though.
when money starts, as the bass line kicks in and stuff, the scene where what's her name, the skinny dipping girl and Scott, the way there's that scene where we look at her butt for too long and then he like shoots her in the butt with the slingshot. Every event of that lines up with the beat of Money. Like
That's pretty great.
the thing hitting her butt, her turning around, him winking at her is all perfectly on the beat. And then the song like really starts get going just as like that camp meeting is starting. So that was kind of neat. Let's see. The guitar part of Us and Them hits just as Beanpole Shredded Redhead gets his like prank Jason mask removed. Like most of the times that things lined up, it was things that are like insignificant in the movie for the most part.
Yeah.
Um
But it's still funny that anything lined up.
Ooh, although as Us and Them kept going, as the lyrics hit, that's when Scott starts dancing with the dog. You remember that when he goes and like asks what's her name to dance with him, and she's like no, and he's like, well, okay, and he looks at the dog and he's like, would you like to dance with me? And then he actually commits to dancing with the dog. The shot of
I
him
remember
dancing with
that.
the dog comes in just as the lyrics start. Kind of odd. But then the intense part of the saxophone solo on that song hits just as we get that like white wipe as after Crazy Ralph dies. The whole scene of Crazy Ralph getting killed, getting garroted with that barbed wire is happening during a saxophone solo that then gets
Crazy
more
Ralph
intense.
dies.
Crazy
I knew you were
Ralph
gonna do
dies
that.
during a saxophone solo. And then as the white wipe hits, the saxophone solo gets more intense. The beginning
like this
of
is-
Any Color You Like hits perfectly in time with a scene change, which felt kind of neat. What was that you're saying?
I just think that this is one of my favorite things of like realizing that this is why so many people think that people actually cut their movies to Dark Side of the Moon.
Right?
Because even randomly, this garbage movie just happens to line up with enough moments that some
Right.
people are going to go,
Hmm.
makes you
Well,
think.
and a couple of
doesn't
things that are important to note before I keep going. I do have a couple more things here. Obviously, if you take any, 45-minute to an hour-long album and run it at the same time as any movie at all, there's enough happening in that span of time that something is going to line up, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And also, if you're high at the time, you're going to see stuff that's not even there. I want everyone to understand I was stone sober when I did this. It was this morning. Like, I was not seeing things that were not there because I was not high at the time. The ending stuff is what's really cool, actually. Like, right at the beginning and right at the end of the album is when the coolest stuff lining up happens. All right, so the song Brain Damage. The first line is "The lunatic is on the grass." And as that lyric hits, it cuts to a shot of Jason's boots.
Ooh.
Okay.
And then on the line,
Okay.
"Got to keep the loonies on the path." That's when the cop interrupts Jeff and Sandra as they're looking for Crystal Lake to go see the murder place. That happens like just as it cuts to him standing behind them.
See, stuff like that.
Okay, get this though. Same song, same set of scenes. The chorus hits as the cop starts running after Jason in the woods. So then, and this is the most insane part, the final song on the album, Eclipse, begins at the exact moment that we get our first shot of Jason's shack in the woods. That is when that song starts. And it's building the whole time that the cop walks up to it and opens the door and looks in and stuff. And let's see, and the song ends just at the point that he opens that one door and sees the dead mom shrine. That's the moment the song ends, as he opens that door and starts looking shocked. And then there's a few seconds of just heartbeat sounds that end at almost the same moment that the cop gets killed.
That's pretty cool.
Now,
I like
That's
the
that.
pretty neat.
funniest thing, the thing that lined up perhaps the best actually in the whole movie is in the middle of that song. It is the lyric, "Everyone you fight," because if you know the lyrics of the song, it's like the way the whole flow of the lyrics are as it builds. It's like, all that you touch, all that you see, all that you blah, 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 blah. And as the phrase "everyone you fight" is said, is when we have that shot of the toilet. But that song was like the best set of matched up things that the entire movie had to offer. And boy, if I were dumber, I would say that it was all on purpose. Fortunately, I am not. I have a big brain and I know that it is all coincidence, but it was pretty
Big
cool.
brain man.
And I actually do
But
recommend
when you watch it
I
tonight,
do recommend watching the movie like that. I think that is a good move. And I think I'm going to do this with more movies in the future just to see what happens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a new segment.
Yeah, that's
what
I
you're
cannot
saying.
guarantee that I'm going to do this with every single movie because I think that would probably get exhausting.
I would be shocked
Although
if you
I
did
do
that.
have a little bit of an idea. Maybe we pick the album at random and put it to a community vote.
What album
Maybe
will
we
Jeff
have
listen
a
to while
yeah,
he watches this
maybe we
movie?
have a list of albums and be like, all right, what are we doing with this one? So if anyone listening to this has an idea of a good album for me to be listening to while watching Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street 2, let me know.
Nirvana's Nevermind.
I will give it a shot. Please don't make me listen to Nirvana. I don't like them. But
Montero.
it cannot hurt to suggest
Ooh, Montero
that.
would actually be a good one.
I think that could work actually.
Yeah.
Maybe
Not for Halloween.
Maybe we
but-
should try and limit it to classic rock
Friday.
or something.
Or
but
for Nightmare.
maybe there should be like some kind of
think-
like a stylistic guideline or something. But We'll figure it out.
So that people don't just give you butt rock albums and you actually have like something that flows from song
You get to
song.
listen to Creed while you watch.
Oh man, I can't believe it. If you watch Halloween Season of the Witch while you listen to Dark Horse by Nickelback, everything lines up
God.
perfectly.
Oh my god.
It's the worst experience on earth.
And then someone's like, how does it line up? And you're like, it lines up when I throw it in the trash.
So anyways though,
Anyway.
yeah, that's a thing to maybe look forward to in the future.
And you know where you can tell us about which albums you want Jeff to listen to? You can do that by joining our Discord, which you can find the link on our Twitter at Casual Horror Pod.
Ooh.
So if you want to, not only that, but you can generally harass us. We talk about all sorts of fun stuff. It's the Halloween season. So we've been talking about Spirit Halloween and also just general spooky stuff. Come join us. Come chat. We
Yeah.
talk about a lot of fun stuff. Yeah. And other than that, follow us on Twitter.
But where can they follow us on Twitter?
I said Casual Horror
Well, but like
Pod.
individually.
Oh, I thought individually.
Oh, individually. You guys want to?
Nina, tell
Okay.
them where they can find all of us on Twitter.
All right, I'm gonna do my best to do this without any help.
Oh, okay.
It's not gonna
'Cause
go
it's
well
so
because
hard.
I can't spell. But yeah, you can follow me. I'll start with myself because it's easiest at House Usher Rises on Twitter, where I'm actually being pretty active talking about horror stuff.
Even House Usher.
Even House
Even
Usher,
House
I'm really
Usher.
pumped because Mike Flanagan has reportedly been given the rights to a short series about House Usher, which is one of my favorite post stories, and I think fits his style of storytelling really well. And I'm excited to see where that goes.
And on this
It's kind
podcast-
of like a best case scenario.
On this podcast, we stand Mike Flanagan.
we
We do.
we do currently stand Mike Flanagan. Yes.
Good asterisk just in case.
Currently.
Yeah. No. I have no
Potentially not
hope
in, the
in my
future, we
heart.
don't know.
I do not trust anyone. Unfortunately, and I don't want to act like I do. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you follow me there. I talk about horror stuff. You can follow me at Nina Wolverina on any basic platform if you want to like see my art and stuff. But at horror specific, House Usher Rises. You can follow Emma at Emma Panada on Twitch and Twitter. She does some really cool TTRPG stuff. Really fun. I'm loving it. And she's also super funny, so follow her. Noah, you can follow at Bubba the Bad, BUBVADABAD.
Yeah, that was correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's funny too. And I'm married to him.
Gross.
In case you didn't know. Our anniversary is tomorrow. Our first year anniversary. So I feel like
Gay.
Wow.
Woo!
Tomorrow as of recording, not tomorrow
Right,
as of
yeah.
release.
Yeah, by
What-
the time this
tomorrow's-
comes
What
out,
paper
it's-
products did you get each other?
Oh, right, it's paper.
Yeah, what kind of paper did you get each other? Divorce papers?
And
Yes.
for more content like that, follow Jeff on Twitter at BubbleWubbadab, BUBBAWUVBADAB.
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Bubba Wubba Dab.
I can't believe
It was
that
wholly
worked.
unnecessary for you to spell it, but I appreciate that you did it.
I had to put my full effort in. But that's where to find us and what we do. So yeah, thanks for listening to this podcast where we talked about a horror movie.
Wait, what are we talking about next time?
Oh, next time.
Yeah, Jeff.
Next time, a fish on the actual podcast, we'll be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Very excited. And we'll also hopefully have a mini-sode out to you, speaking of Mike Flanagan, about Midnight Mass, which will
Yeah.
probably also bring up some Hill House and Bly stuff. So don't listen to that.
We will not because Jeff hasn't.
I haven't watched either of those yet.
Oh, well, then we won't bring up any spoilery stuff. So yeah, totally, 100%. Look out for that
Spoil
too.
the shit out of Bly.
All right, thanks guys for listening, and Jeff, you're good to go.